We knew it was too quiet. We knew something was afoot. And now we know why. Ladies and gentlemen, the democratic people in our government are communists. And we're going to explain exactly what they're not even hiding it anymore. So this is Representative Wiley Nickel, hope I'm pronouncing that right, from North Carolina. And he is speaking about creating a shadow cabinet from an idea to borrow from our British friends. So you guys look at what's going on in Britain right now for the last few months, and I made a video about this a while ago about what's happening there. And things are just going... We all knew things were just too good to be true, and now we know why. These people will not stop. Okay, now let's hear what he has to say. There's another video of him that he goes in deeper here that I want to look at for you guys. But let's just listen to what he has to say, huh?
Last week stung. As Democrats, we simply failed to convince the American people we have better ideas to solve their problems. But we do. Now we need to dust ourselves off and get ready to fight. We can't let Donald Trump's extreme MAGA agenda go unanswered or unopposed. Zone defense isn't going to work. We're going to have to go man on man. So here's an idea for how to organize our opposition. We need to borrow from our British friends and appoint a shadow cabinet to fight back against the worst
treason. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call sedition. Okay, and I pulled up the dictionary here for you guys. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Okay, what he just described is sedition. And they're openly admitting this now. Because he just posted this literally yesterday at 11:21 a.m. from Washington, D.C.
abuses of a second Trump administration. The special relationship between the United States and Britain extends not just to our strength on the global stage, but also to our shared commitment to democracy. Across the Atlantic, the British have something we don't.
Shared commitment to democracy. These people are hilarious.
A team from the opposition that mirrors the government's own cabinet members. They watch the cabinet closely, publicly challenging, scrutinizing, and offering new ideas. It's another form of checks and balances, a quiet guardrail that holds those in power accountable.
Wrong. That is a secret deep state that is trying to overthrow and corrupt the powers that be. That's not just, what did he say? The way did he phrase it? It's
new ideas. It's another form of checks and balances.
Another form of checks and balances. Get a load of this guy.
A quiet guardrail that holds those in power accountable. With a shadow cabinet, there's no hiding.
That is literally the definition of hiding. A shadow cabinet.
Each decision by the government faces a ready counterpoint, not just from the media and voters, but also from political leaders poised to step in. Shadow cabinet members can also become the clear point people for advocacy and grassroots organizers, making it easier to unify and amplify the solutions that those in power are ignoring.
In other words, it's easier to organize people at the grassroots level, seeing like all of these immigrants in New York last week, for example, that you saw thousands and thousands of immigrants within days of Trump being elected. All of a sudden, they've got all of these posters, these fancy posters, by the way, T-shirts made, everything within days. Something didn't seem right about that. And so now they want to organize these people like the illegal immigrants. They're not just immigrants, they're illegal immigrants, so that they can take control over the population.
Ignoring. It's democracy's insurance policy.
No, it's communism. That's literally communism.
And it strengthens the government too. There's no room for lazy ideas when rivals stand ready to step in.
Exactly. They want to get a bigger government so that we can all bend over and take the great sandpaper dildo, as George Carlin calls it, and shove it up our butts every day and say that we have to like it. Okay, now he's going to go into exactly who he wants to appoint and where in this video.
If Trump attempts to weaponize the justice system against his political opponents with Matt Gaetz at the helm, we could see incoming Senator Adam Schiff as our shadow attorney general, arguing against replacing our independent prosecutors with Trump loyalists. If Trump seeks to eliminate the Department of Education, Congresswoman Johanna Hayes, a former Teacher of the Year, could step up as shadow education secretary to loudly defend public education in the United States. If Trump orders Marco Rubio to hand Ukraine and much of Eastern Europe to Russian President Vladimir Putin, Congressman Greg Meeks, as Shadow Secretary of State, could be a strong voice in support of maintaining international relationships and protecting democracy at home and abroad. Senator Michael Bennet, as Shadow Treasury.
Basically, what we need to do is make sure that we take note of everybody that he's writing down and talking about, because they're all involved. Or at least they could be involved in whatever this shadow government is. And they probably have certain influences with money. Like, we always got to follow the money, right? So they've probably got something where we need to check this out and we need to look at things that are happening, because these people that he's listing off right here are going to be likely paid off by very rich people that want to see the world move in a certain way. We could name names that I've done already on the channel here in the past, but I think you guys will get the gist at this point.
Treasury Secretary and Congresswoman Susan DelBene as Shadow Commerce Secretary could help ensure the middle class and small businesses have a voice in government and call out Trump's proposed tax cuts for billionaires and corporations.
These people just cannot take a loss. Like, they really cannot take a loss. They cannot look at themselves and think that they're actually, they have ideas that are just so preposterous. They genuinely cannot fathom it, that the American people don't want this. And even if Trump was selected and not elected, it still goes against the will of the people. Like, to talk about stuff like this, you're going against the will of democracy, really. Then these are the same people that want to rave about democracy and how it's so important that everybody has a voice and your body, your choice, and all that shit. And then you see stuff like this, and you think to yourself, you got to be kidding me. Are you serious? Are these people serious? Well, he's got a whole poster of shadow cabinet. I mean, these people are nuts. These people are insane. They're deranged communists that want people to be consumed by gay culture.
As Shadow Defense Secretary, Congressman Adam Smith, a great representative for the people of Washington and not a Fox News host, could counter Trump's threat to use military force against his political opponents and work to ensure that the Department of Defense stays loyal to the Constitution and not some wannabe dictator.
Again, what they're doing is against the Constitution. Like, these people are literally seditionists. Okay, let's look back to what a sedition is. A serious felony punished by fines and prison time, inciting revolt or violence against a lawful authority to destroy and overthrow it. They're already claiming Trump is a dictator and such. And we've already had one term where Trump was supposedly like Hitler, and yet, look around, like, nobody excessively. We're talking about deporting illegals as like the biggest thing and stopping the killing of babies. and they're saying this guy's Hitler. He's, look, I'm not a fan of Trump. I didn't vote, and some people will say, oh, well, you can't complain when you vote. It's like, well, then you can't blame me when everything goes to chaos because I didn't have any part in your craziness. You guys did vote for this. You guys did crazy decisions that these people are talking about. You guys propped that up. You guys voted for that. Me, no, I did not.
And Senator Tammy Duckworth could argue against cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs that would delay the benefits and care our service members have so rightly earned. If Trump hands over the EPA to big oil ally Lee Zeldin, we could see Congresswoman Kathy Castor pushing back for environmental protection and conservation to protect the air we breathe and the water we drink.
Meanwhile, these are the same people that are talking about how everything that, like, the weather warfare and HARPA, that, like, this kind of stuff that's going on with that's all a conspiracy theory. Meanwhile, you have these same people that are literally, they're just creating the problems.
And if Trump pushes to ban abortion nationwide, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro could step in as Shadow Secretary of Health and Human Services to defend women's right to choose and argue against the gutting of Medicare by Trump and his cronies.
His cronies.
Mr. Speaker, new times require new solutions. The shadow cabinet isn't just about opposing extreme MAGA attacks on our government. It's also about making clear what we stand for, not just what we're against. If Trump
Which means they want to make sure that everybody knows that they stand for communism disguised as democracy, and they stand for being the daddy government that they so want. They so desire it. They need to be daddy government. These people, man. These people are nuts. But anyways, guys, I wanted to let you guys know and keep you all updated on what's happening, because we all know that in this day and age, things were too quiet. Things were too calm. Things were going too nicely, obviously. And so now, like I mentioned before, communists don't just go away quietly. Okay, they are consumerists in how they interact. And this guy is literally talking, that sounds like treason. Like, literally sounds like treason. If Donald Trump was actually fairly elected and is not like an actual dictator because he was fairly elected, like, it looks like the Democrats are even eating themselves up at this point. Like, they're fighting amongst themselves. And, man, it's just what a time to be alive and to see this kind of crazy stuff, because this is the deep state. This is mind control. Okay, this is mind control too. You have to recognize that they're trying to do certain things to influence your mind. And this goes back to like MK Ultra stuff. This goes back to all of these other different kinds of things that are going on with mind control, and how they've been able to use psychology against the people for so long. And so many people are on these mind control programs without even knowing it. I mean, if you think about it, let's say somebody is highly enveloped in an ideology, and where you say something that could be triggering to them, and they have a highly emotional reaction and response to this, what you're actually demonstrating to other people is that you are completely under the ideology and you have little to no understanding of who you are and what you're really about, because you are enveloped in an ideology. You are like literally in the web of dogma and demagogues and all of these different kinds of influences, whether it's material or idealistic or vain vain purposes as well. A lot of people are consumed by their own vanity. And this just goes to show how far people are gone. I mean, look at exactly in the last week, looking at all of these people that were completely like harvested as energy through people losing their minds over Trump being elected. And then you have, this was something I mentioned earlier in another video not a while back, but just recently, a little bit ago, was that I noticed that when Trump was elected, I was almost programmed to be happy. I was almost programmed to feel good about it because it's my demographic that I was being targeted for that. And I remember asking myself, like, why am I excited about this? Why do I feel this state of calmness? Because I had spiritual attacks for months and months and months. And now all of a sudden it's like they're gone. The spiritual attacks were gone for a few days. And they came back a little bit on like Saturday and Sunday last week, but nothing crazy, nothing I couldn't handle. And then this week, things have amped up a little bit more, but still relatively optimistic and uncharacteristically so. But this is it. This is the deep state being revealed openly now. They've probably already had this before. They're just openly talking about it now because now that people are this upset, they're, okay, what does the devil have to do in order to get rid of any karma? He has to tell you exactly what the plan is. Why do you think in the Olympics earlier this year, all of the demonic, satanic, really like heresy-like figures were just completely perverse? I don't even know how else to describe it. They were just completely perverse and demonstrating what they wanted to do. Like, it was satanic to watch that kind of stuff. And it was an insult to Christianity as a whole, which even though I say I'm not Christian, I say I follow Christ, it's still an insult. And it's still what they did with the Last Supper and having a trans fat woman as Jesus, like the parody of Jesus. That was insulting on so many levels. And it went exactly against everything that Jesus preached about in the Gospels. So it was just really wild. And, well, that's their plan, though. And so they have to tell you what the plan is. They have to show you what they want to do in order for them to not have any karma. Because if they have to manipulate you in a way where they can't reveal certain things all the time, then they're going to get punished for that spiritually. So this is mind control. This is about taking back your mind. This is about taking back what is rightfully yours and reclaiming your soul, because now is the time. And stay vigilant, stay alert. And with all that being said, if you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, where we are meeting once a week for a Bible study, once a week for a group call, and then we have a bunch of different other options available for classes and such. There's the paid community that you can check out, where we are connecting the godlike savages of the world for men, and we are connecting the warm, inviting, feminine, empathetic women for women all around the world that are wanting to be more wives and more motherly. And those are going to be the demographics really that we're really trying to create a connection with people all over the world for that paid community. We also have the free Discord available if you want to check that out. And I want to thank everybody moving from YouTube over to X and Rumble recently. I appreciate your guys' support. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.